Hi, Vanessa. How are you? We're really happy to have you here.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me. Really, really excited and honored to be here today as well.
So for those of you who do not know Vanessa, Vanessa is also known as Coco. And I think she will have the opportunity to introduce herself, and she's also known as the influencer whisperer. All right. So Vanessa, today we would like to talk about the importance of, there are a couple of things that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about influencer marketing and also touch a little bit on content, right? So the first thing that I would like to talk about, because of what it is that you do, because of the type of interactions that you have with these professionals, it was important for us to touch on influencer managers. But by influencer managers, we're talking about the guys that are doing the talent management, right? So if you want to book an influencer, you pick up the phone and call someone, that basically represents an influencer. Just the same way a music artist would have, a manager. So the first question that I have basically for you is, what is the importance of a manager? Do you think it's really crucial for influencers to have managers?
Well, I would say this depends, and this is based on influencer to influencer. One, I would say it depends on the individual's profession. Now, I say individuals because, we regard influencers as people who have probably a large following and a large influence on social media. So ideally, you'd find we're using an influencer who's also an artist, right? Or we're even using an influencer who's an actor or an actress or a TV news presenter as well. So depending on the person's profession and how busy their life can get, I would say there is an importance for, somebody to assist. So I would say also depending on how busy you are, you might either see the need to have a manager or to have somebody assist you. So normally people think that managers help them get gigs, get influencer jobs, get opportunity. But to be honest, I will never select an influencer because you're managed by so-and-so. I will select you as an influencer and a content creator based off of your work and your online presence.
All right. So that's a very good point here. But so what is the role really then of a manager? If it's not really to find deals for influencers. I mean, because to be honest with you, I'd like to believe that the people that manage influencers, it would be nice if they had some sort of background. It's nice if you've managed a brand before, for example, if you have some brand management experience, and then you manage an influencer, because then I think you can actually probably provide some sort of value. What do you think? What do you think a manager should do?
A manager's role should be basically to help you get things done, right? Again, probably you're an artist and you don't know a lot of the admin stuff that needs to be done, because, a lot of people think that when we employ you as an influencer, it's just you creating content, posting content, we pay you, and that's it. But there's so much admin work, there's so much paperwork. If you're being, contracted as an agency, you have to be onboarded onto the system. And a lot of people actually have a challenge with this, where they really don't know how to go about all these admin work, reading of contracts, etc. So then a manager comes in handy, because they're able to even help you negotiate as well. And they're also able to explain what the contract means. So I would look at a manager as a representative, in my opinion, as a representative, and as someone who's able to help you manage your workload if it's a lot. Sorry, my cat. To manage your workload. But on the same breath, sometimes I feel like managers are not a necessity. Not saying they're not important, they just are not a necessity.
All right, so tell me, so you don't think it has something to do with the level of maturity the influencer already has? Just bring the cat. Just bring that cat. Just call that cat. Just bring the cat.
I can hear her. I can hear her calling, but I can't see her, so I think she's in the garage.
I love cats as well, but anyway, that's a. So I was asking you. You don't think some influencers? It depends on the level of maturity that the influencer have. Maturity in the sense of experience in the industry, right? Meaning, if you have a lot of experience in the industry, please. Okay, so
you can
why
hear
don't
her.
you just call her? Yes.
Oh Lord, she's not very. Just ignore her. Just ignore her. If she comes here, fine. If she doesn't, she'll leave.
Yeah. So as I was saying, so do you think it has something to do with the experience that the influencer in question has? Because if you've done a lot of work before, chances are you've probably invoiced before, you've probably dealt with LPOs, you've probably done negotiations before. But if you're a brand new influencer, like when we did the influencer awards, remember we had a lot of young influencers, right? So
yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it depends on that, or what do you think?
I think it's majorly based on your profession, because you'll find a lot of people who I have, come across who have managers have other things that they're doing other than online content creation. So you'll find this manager probably comes in handy when they probably have a show and they need to go and perform, or they are a TV presenter and they just have so many other things going on. One day they're on a billboard, so this person becomes essential overall for this individual. But for somebody who's just going into influencer marketing, yes, a lot of influencers do run to managers because they don't know how to go about it, and that's the core of even us launching the Influencer Whisperer series. Is a lot of people run to managers because there's no point of view, local point of view, and there's no person educating influencers on how to go about deals, how to go about creating content, how to go about doing proposals. And so they run to these people who, promise them that they're going to get them deals and help them put together campaigns. And in the run, they also take some cuts, which I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much for this. So Coco, I've heard a lot of people saying that they're not really comfortable working with influencers that have managers, because apparently managers are kind of messing up the industry. They're adding some barriers that are not supposed to be there necessarily, right? And then sometimes I don't know, maybe they inflate prices, so people have this perception. I'm saying this also because I've managed some people, and I manage some people currently. And I recall having a conversation with the guys that I manage saying, look, Chris, they don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to me directly because they feel that you're going to maybe make it more complicated. So what are your views on this?
So what I would say is that I have had my own fair share with negative experience with managers. One managers who I feel like sometimes they can really ruin it. As an influencer, before you go ahead and engage with a manager, please make sure that this person has your best interest at heart, because at the end of the day, these people are in it to make money, right? So if you have, let me give an example. If you have 10K followers, right? Myself as an influencer manager, and by virtue of what I do for a living, I see costs and estimates every single day. So I know ideally the range of how much a person with 10K followers should be asking for. Yeah. And so what happens when you bring in a manager into that conversation is that your rate card immediately goes up, right? Because you have to pay a certain percentage to your manager. Sure. So what that does is that it actually ruins the market for you, because then people view you as too expensive, and probably your content is not of the best of quality. You asking for 100,000 for one post and you have 10,000 followers. Nobody's gonna pay you that much just because you have a manager and just because you have to give them 50% or 30%. No one cares. We need to make things make sense for our clients and to also make sense for our business. If I was to put that same money into paid media, would I get the same reach or even more than paying you? So it also has to make sense for us. The other thing is that some managers are very entitled as well, and are not very professional. I have had my own experience as well of managers asking me out on dates, and just giving shady comments. And I immediately have to put them in their place, because, the fact that you would assume that a young woman in the industry would be open to go on a date with you thinking that you would give your people that you're managing opportunities just because of that is quite disrespectful and quite unprofessional. You know, and this is a whole different topic of being young, you know, and a beautiful woman, being in the industry as well, in the entertainment industry as well. There's a lot of challenges that we face, but that's a whole different topic. But there's also that part of unprofessionalism. A lot of it, you know, and it kind of puts a sour taste in people's mouths the next time they want to work with an influencer and you're the person that I have to talk to. I would rather look for somebody else than go through that uncomfortability, you know. Yeah, I guess I hope.
No, thank you very much for being so candid. You know, I think we need to talk about these things because people need to really wake up. You know, to be honest with you, people think, I don't know what managers really think. I remember when we were doing the awards, right? And we had to call a couple of influencers, right? And, you know, we called them and then I personally called a couple of talent managers, whatever they call themselves. And I called them and they don't bother to call me back, you know? So little things, you know, you promise that you're going to call back, you know, say, we're not happy to work, or we're not happy to do this, or do you see what I'm saying? And it messes up the relationship for the influencer and the brand or whoever is trying to engage with them. Just little things. Some people are not really professional. Some people see an opportunity and decide that they're going to go and manage someone because they see, you know, they see that they might make a buck, you know, stuff like that. So, but anyway, I know you've had your fair share of things. It looks like you're thinking of something. You want to add something?
Yeah.
Okay.
As much a few scenarios just run through my head. I wanted to say, look at business owners, right? Look at business owners and look at a CEO or a manager who's in high power, you know, who is very hands-on with his business. And a lot of successful businesses actually have people leading that industry who are very hands-on. And these people are always on top of everything. If there's a problem, come ask me, you know, don't make decisions for me. And the truth is, as an influencer, you will never be able to pay somebody to care. If I call that particular manager and they're in a bad mood, I will never call them again. You know what I mean? And at that point, you probably lost a deal that you've been hoping to get just because of that particular person. So you need to be in charge of your brand. You need to be on top of conversations. Whenever a manager is being emailed something, make sure you're copied so that you see what happens when you're not told by your manager that there was a meeting happening and probably your manager didn't show up and I end up dropping you from the campaign. Who will you have to blame? And surprisingly enough, you probably did not even know that meeting is there because your manager is basically doing all the talking. But you have let go of your brand. You have put your brand in somebody else's hands, which is very, very dangerous. The minute you stop being of benefit and of value to that person, you will be screwed. Absolutely, completely. And you will have ruined your relationship with a lot of people because of doing that, you know, and for you to recover, it's going to really take a lot. It's important for me to also say this. On the same breath that I've had, you know, very negative experiences with managers, I have also had very positive experiences. There are even managers that I have recommended to other talents, you know, where I would, you know, find a new talent, a new influencer or content creator, and, you know, probably stopped at a level of education because there's also that as well. And, you know, we are bothering them with all these contracts and paperwork and they have no idea how to do that. There are people who probably never even have an experience with PowerPoint. And at that point, I'd be like, I actually would recommend a manager to this person because regardless of your experience and your, you know, level of education, work still needs to move. And in that case, a manager becomes very important because they're able to assist you, right? So I have also had very positive experiences with very many managers. Most of them are doing such a great job, but a lot of them are also doing such a horrible job for the talents that they're managing.
All right. Thank you very much for this. Actually, you know, you touched on something quite important. You know, contracts. Right? So contracts between, but I think we're going to probably talk about this in another video, you know, in another, because I mean, we can talk about it for, it's a serious subject, right? And most people don't know what it is that they get themselves into. But I think I'd rather move to the next topic, because, we're trying to actually condense, to do quite a lot in a short period of time. But thank you very much, Vanessa, for this one. All right.
You're welcome.